Hello, everybody. Let's get into this dumb review of AEW Dynamite. Of course, we came into the finalists of last week. If you didn't, if I did not make my review, I'll try to recap on that so I can make this technically on point. If you haven't watched Dynamite from the previous week, that it looks like the finalists coming into the tournament came to Dustin Rhodes in a bloody mess, losing to Lance Archer. Kind of a one-sided thing. We don't expect Dustin to go off and face off against Cody. And Darby Allin fell off just a bit short against Cody Rhodes, getting into the semifinals. And he'll end up at Double or Nothing facing off. It'll be Cody and Lance Archer for the TNT Championship. I still think it's a dumb name because what if anything with a TV deal goes wrong? Anything with a TV deal goes wrong. I mean, several years with TNT when it came to Monday Nitro, and they never thought of the WCW goddamn TNT Championship. That would be weird. Or WWE, they've been on they returned back on USA like 2005, and till then they never. Well, there's United States Championship, but that came in like 2003, so that doesn't count. So, oddly enough, we of course had intruding. We had Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Jim Ross back on commentary after making separate streaming services for their own commentary. If you want to hear their voice, I guess they keep themselves busy. We also have Taz getting into an interview later in the afternoon again with Darby Allin involving his loss to Cody. Didn't get to watch the match. I'll get to rewatch it probably on my review, really late review of Nitro. I mean Dynamite from the previous week. Oh God, oh boy. We also had live the opening match that was dragged, but it was a long and watchable match from Joey Janela with weird tassels on the front of his crotch. He looks like a bag of sweet potatoes. The dude could obviously get into a work. Like he's a fine wrestler. I just don't understand the staying power that's gonna keep him on television. It's like Cody can sometimes have an eye for talent. Getting Lance Archer was good. Getting Colt Cabana was fine because he's a likable and watchable wrestler to be entertained with his personality that's gonna work. Jake the Snake as a managerial figure, smart. The promo and vignettes that you guys have pre-match that have every type of momentum and hype going to a match is smart. I'm not. No one's saying that these guys aren't smart in the way they book it. Just the guys that they have doing the jobs and the positions that they have now. It's weird because I know from this whole COVID-19 shit getting everybody upset and it ruins like the type of ideas that they have. But we had this ongoing rivalry with the best friends and the Triangle of Pain from Pentagon Junior, Phoenix, and Ray Phoenix and Pac facing up against like Orange Cassidy, Trent, and Chuck Taylor, and then they don't even go through that, and that was like weeks ago. So I thought they had the street fight like weeks ago or something. They didn't, I think so. The match has went as simple as it can be. There was a masterful promo by MJF. He had two great promos. He shows how much he can actually rock the mic. But I'll get more in depth in it before we finish this match. We had a Cody cutter that got reversed into a German suplex that looked botched. I think he was trying to go for a bridge. A hip toss. These guys went running clothesline from the entranceway. I don't know why they're back after being in a facility for that long, but I guess because it doesn't sound to be spreading that often. I guess they're back into that empty outside arena so they can just do more stuff for the tag team street fight that was the main event, involving primarily the Inner Circle, because of course it did. One of the Young Bucks are still technically injured, but yet the other Young Buck couldn't come. Like Cody didn't come after just having a goddamn match against Joey Janela. Like that, that totally rocked the socks out of him after he won. After Joey was building up all this momentum, after they were hitting it back and forth and shit, Joey messed up on too many makeshift spots for a moonsault, and one barely connected. He looked like he busted his ass. It just felt like he was trying too hard to be athletic, even though he does not look that way, or he barely is. At times, he'll just do a super kick or something to make sure that the match looks fast-paced. It ends off, of course, a crossroads. Then later in the night, we of course had, the ongoing attacks with Lance Archer and his thing with the Rhodes family. He came squashing QT Marshall early in the night. There was a promo involving Shawn Spears, like he actually still has some involvement with Cody, even though he lost to him in the tournament in an exhibition match before, and he lost to him on pay-per-view. Why do you still think you're a general threat? Even in the WWE sense and the AEW sense, you're still like a perennial lower mid-carder at best, Shawn Spears. And yet we do all this crap to try to get you over, and then they try to issue a tag team partner, even though it was generalized since you had Tully Blanchard as a goddamn manager. They were gonna try to push you as an upper mid Carter. Then they have you losing to the first round of the goddamn tournament for a new secondary title. I don't know their AEW's inconsistencies to try to actually push upper mid Carters. And then you have Cody go over them, even though he's treated as a technical authority figure slash wrestler. It's kind of a dumb way to go with it. And here's my minor nitpicks. I enjoyed the opening match going into the show. It's just my huge nitpicks on how in the hell like the show operates or their generalized authority figures on how matches are booked or how you want these guys to go. I like the win-loss record, how they fit into the sanctity of trying to get into a match, or you just have a random guy like Orange Cassidy that, yes, he's over, but the guy barely wins matches. So there would be no point in bringing him to a tournament other than to just get a cheap pop from the crowd. He's a fun guy to watch, but I don't want to see like a waste of like TV time going to Orange Cassidy. We had Nyla Rose return to action facing off against a jobber. We went. There was a great vignette of going over most of the women and most of their credentials on why or how they're being given a shot. Over Nyla Rose being a great champion, even though she hasn't been shown on TV in like weeks, like nearly a month. She had like I think one title defense or something in a multi-women's match, and then that was it. Calling herself the head bitch in charge, showing people like Nyla Rose, uh, Kaidi, I forgot her name. I forgot her name. It's that Japanese girl. She kept winning matches. Penelope Ford, that's with Kip Sabian. Chris Statlander that lost to her before, and of course, Riho. And they kept playing it off like this is the greatest match ever. I'm sorry. It's like a paraplegic, like deadlifting the Big Show for a majority of the match, just a few stiff moves. The match was fine. It was just not as. I never thought it was that impressive, to be honest. The match had some good spots, but in that I didn't find anything that made like a compelling first champion to be Riho, and then you try to push Britt Baker to be like this massive heel, and they don't get built up for much. We have a guy like MJF, one of the top promos and the top guys, but he's injured, so obviously he wasn't going to be in the tournament for the new championship. And plus, he has it in for Cody, so I thought that'd be good infliction. I guess that would be their idea, give MJF more of an upper mid card role, but life plays a huge toll on everybody. God, what's wrong with my throat? I thought we had this done for a majority of the day. I've been having an issue with this. We also had what was built up for the afternoon, Jon Moxley versus Frankie Kazarian. And Frankie Kazarian was growing out his hair. I understand it was quarantine, so you can do anything. I even got a bit of big hair, but it's obviously going to happen to me. Not for Frankie Kazarian. He kept his hair mad short for a few years now. And I've been watching him since, like, TNA. Since he was, like, part of the X Division. So he had that short, long hair that was wet nearly all the time. And, it's weird just seeing him looking like he's a militant dude. And it was just, the match was fine. It obviously ended off the paradigm shift. There was no reason for this match to happen other than just Jon Moxley's a fighting champion. And then it ends up with headlock. 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 Moves down to get control. Running off the ropes for a headlock. There was running down the momentum stuff when I think Kazarian was stunned, and a clothesline. They're trying to make it like it was equal footing, but Moxley was better. It's like Moxley has the height advantage. and barely putting that to play. They were still doing in-ring shit when it showed that like Moxley's just a bona fide brawler. It barely goes into the characteristics. Then the Dark Order comes, and they thought the fucking SCU was gonna take care of that. It was just SCU. Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega didn't come in, even though they have issues. Nearly everybody has a problem with the Dark Order in the roster, and yet nobody came except the SCU. And then Brody Lee came to try to insulate his opportunity for a championship match against Jon Moxley. But it was going to happen at Double or Nothing. Wow, what a way to go for it. There's this big dude that was muscly as hell. What happened to Evil Uno and Stu Grayson? Like after Brody Lee came, the last several weeks, it's just been Brody Lee. Like I understand we're trying to establish him as this head honcho of the Dark Order, but you gotta at least show more of your associates actually being key holders, other than you will join the Dark Order. And it's better than Evil Uno, this fat bastard in a goddamn luchador mask, just screaming out cryptic orders on everybody, and Stu Grayson just looking like he came out of Comic-Con molesting like 7 furries. It's obviously not what you expect out of a Dynamite episode, and obviously what you're not expecting from a faction, but at least expect them doing something to give them a reason, because it's just Brody Lee, and he's just illustrating his power, I guess, that he immediately gets a pay-per-view match against Moxley at Double or Nothing, so I guess that's something. Boring match, basic conclusion to issue, anything. Hell, I'd wish Christian would come back to wrestling. Like, make it feel like TNA when he was on TNA. But he was getting underdeveloped in WWE, so the time when he was a main eventer on TNA, big deal. Huge big deal. Now the guy's an afterthought, and he's not even like a first ballot Hall of Famer to put it on the fucking Bellas. And they didn't even do that Hall of Fame ceremony because it was COVID-19. Yet they were still doing Mania inside. Smart people. WWE is a smart business to be in, and I don't want to stop watching. I don't want to stop. I never want to stop. I want to stop. That's just how it is. But next up, we of course had a squash match involving QT Marshall against Lance Archer 1-on-1. You obviously knew this was a squash match. The only difference was that Brandy Rhodes just came in to just talk shit on Lance Archer, even though and Jake the Snake coming around. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. You don't know me. You know the real family, but you don't know me. I'm Brandy. I'm a strong. She did show some balls in her promo. The best promo of the afternoon was MJF, because he had that flair, that showing he's a first generation guy, and he's the youngest to do it out of guys like in their 30s. While I'm the youngest and I can be in the height of anybody's level. I like that promo, and he's coming around and everybody's thrown. It was a great promo. He has great assets. Even my brother, a guy that has like the lowest, like wrestling sucks this much that he has the lowest expectations of nearly anything. And even he thought that actually took like he wanted to say what he wanted to say on the microphone. So stuff like that, MGF keeps shit like that up. Hell, he'll be world champion before he turns like 25. So yeah, good promo, a few good promos. We even had a interview involving him and Tony Schiavone with Sean Spears, and it was just him sucking a dick of each other with Sean Spears for no reason. Plus, Sean Spears was always with the air horn for majority of the show. So if you wanted to punch your computer because you heard the air horn anytime any person hits somebody, please, I will find the address that Sean Spears lives. I will, and I won't regret it. Next up would be the main event, and that of course would be Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega against Le Sex Gods. Of course, Sammy Guevara thought of the name. if you thought so. Sadly, we didn't have a Bubbly Bunch episode today, or that day, so that's upsetting for me, because I thought the vignettes were pretty funny, smart, entertaining, and Jericho is always such a captivating guy to watch because he has so much personality, and he obviously wants to give the fans a show. The street fight dragged on as much as a street fight always has to do. I guess there was a ladder in the table spot, a bicycle knee with a twist of fate. That obviously wasn't going to be the finish. A goddamn Judas effect from the outside near a football field was the finish. There was several clothes, like gear changes that I came into just a leather, some mixed street attire, some metrosexual shit Matt Hardy wore into as soon as like the entrance tunnel that Jericho tossed Matt Hardy to. He changed into what pretty much the current Matt Hardy from WWE wore, and then like his entrance attire he wears after he came out of the freezer from backstage. So that was like the weirdest thing I've ever fucking saw in my life. And it was so fun. I guess there was a steel bat charge, a snapdragon suplex that I thought was about to take Sammy Guevara's head off. The funnest part of the spot was literally just Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy chasing Sammy Guevara with a golf cart. I'm shocked he didn't get his phone out as soon as that happened. Somebody probably was holding his phone. Nearly everybody was watching the fucking match coming out so they can just get a closer look. Because I think they don't have a Titantron. They do have a Titantron, so why can't people just see from the goddamn huge TV? But yet again, the match ended off with a moonsault. Then, as soon as the One Wicked Angel was about to connect, Ortiz and Santana came to stop it, with J.K. Guerrero interfering. Matt Hardy was taken down with a table, and then they did a Judas effect on Kenny Omega for the win. Inner Circle still stays strong. They still have Blood and Guts in 3 weeks to worry about, so against the Elite. So everybody will be full on healthy. Hopefully the COVID-19 would practically at least get some people to be outside. Hopefully. I hate this shit. But yeah, that's the ending of Dynamite. A watchable episode. All I can say about nearly every episode of Dynamite is not that it's good, that it's practically likable with some huge gems. And most of them can make a difference. Just I want a more pristine card than it's just wrestlers. And it came into just Jericho getting into a fight with Pineapple Pete. Some weird guys like Tony Schiavone touching MJF. That triggers me because that triggers him. Jungle Boy got him shocked as soon as Tony Schiavone told him what's going to be his pay-per-view match at Double or Nothing. What's going to happen with Kenny Omega? They should get more in tune into their interviews. There's no interview with Nyla Rose. Sometimes I feel like interviews are a bit like grinded out just to get some weird reaction or buzzwords coming out of the wrestlers, even though they should be more authentic or come in just the moment. Other than you just beat a jobber, you didn't even beat a top guy. How do you feel? It's generic. AEW has these bright spots, but they do have these small spots that make it a bit too repetitive and unwatchable at times. Other than that, Dynamite was fine. I'll give it like a 5 out of 10 for this episode. And we only have like a few weeks until we get Double or Nothing. I'm shocked that's not the main event of Blood and Guts. It's just a goddamn match step. So why don't you do that to get some butts on the seat? It does feel like it's just centralized war games, even though to everybody else's chagrin, they didn't even initialize what's gonna like. They're trying to show some sort of storytelling involving Shawn Spears and Cody, and yet they don't do so. They don't even reveal what the title's gonna look like. I think they're just gonna do it like they did for the AEW Championship, the time Hangman Page and Jericho were fighting for it from the last Double or Nothing event. Just wow. It kind of was a weak episode, but it was watchable, and that's what I could say about most. I can't say about most Raw and SmackDown reviews, and we still have SmackDown to deal with this week. Other than that, that's Dynamite, folks. Hope you liked the review. Like, comment, subscribe. How you feel about AEW Dynamite and the up and coming weeks? Don't try to get much about the COVID-19. Just a suggestion. Not saying that I control the way you type, but that's it coming from me. I already have choice stuff already typed in my comment section. I'm not gonna dislike it. Anybody can say whatever they want, but I'm dragging it. Thanks for watching.